Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm Lilli Markle, and I'll be guiding you through a meditation and pranayama, in other words, breathwork practice. So begin seated in a comfortable posture. I recommend sitting elevated on a pillow, folded blanket, or other prop that supports your hips to be a little bit higher or at the same height as your knees. So you can either be cross-legged or kneeling. Recommend an upright spine. So no laying down for this one. And we'll begin with a simple breath pattern that is known as samavriti in Sanskrit, which is known as equal ratio breath, which brings a certain quality of balance into the body and clarity in the mind. So it's a great practice to implement when you're feeling a little bit what I like to call windy in the mind, a lot going on, overwhelmed, a little bit anxious. So this kind of drops you into your center. We'll begin by closing our eyes and just take a clearing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale fully. Open mouth, exhale completely. Softening into your seat. And just allowing the support beneath you to rise up and snuggle into that support. In other words, soften into it. Find a quality of ease or effortlessness. A moment of stillness before we begin. Just a word of precaution. If you do suffer from any kind of heart condition or high blood pressure, in the extreme, there is a bit of a breath retention, meaning we hold our breath for a moment in this practice. So if there's anything going on with heart, blood pressure, or eyes, then I would refrain from the retention, or maybe just a very slight one beat hold instead of multiple counts. Same thing goes if you're pregnant. I would recommend holding only for a short period, not the elongated duration that we will eventually go into. So from here, in our comfortable seat, breathe in completely. Breathe out fully. And we'll breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath for 2, 1. Breathe out 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out 1. Inhale 4, 1. Hold 2, 1. Exhale 4, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale. Hold 2. Exhale 4. Hold 2. Continue here. 4 counts on the inhale, holding the breath at the top for 2 beats. And then 4 beats on the exhale, holding the breath at the bottom for 2. In your own tempo, find this rhythmic breath. You might invoke the Ujjayi breath if you practice yoga or are familiar with the wind or wave-like breath, which is a slight restriction in the back of the throat and a lifting of the top palate inside the mouth, which gives you that wind or wave-like sound, and it slows the breath down and allows us to control the breathing, control our prana or our flow of energy. Try to remain soft and relaxed as you retain the breath, even in the belly. So as you're holding the breath, see if you can let go and sink, soften further, deeper into your seat. Enjoy that space within and that silence, both inside the body and outside the body. If you feel like you could deepen the breath here, you might welcome a 6-beat inhale, holding at the top for 3 counts, and a 6-beat exhale, holding the breath out for 3 counts. So half the amount of time in which you breathe in, you hold, half the amount of time you breathe out, that same hold. Using that Ujjayi breath to slow the breath down will help you increase the volume of your breath. If that's too much, no problem. You can always go back to the 4-2 breath ratio in your own time and tempo, keeping the body relaxed and at ease as you practice just a few more rounds of this samavriti, equal ratio breathing. Maintain softness in the face, especially around the eyebrows and jaw. Might even separate the top and bottom teeth slightly, leaving space inside the mouth. And finishing the last round that you're on, take one more cycle. So a breath in, hold, breath out, hold, in whatever ratio you're working with. And that will be the end of this particular breath work practice, or pranayama practice. After that final round, return to a natural flow of breath as the body breathes itself. And in the near future, when it feels right, you can open the eyes again, gently looking around the room. Coming back into this space. And I'll do a short guided exercise for the eyes to also help with clearing the mind and strengthening the mind. So we'll begin with rolling the eyes. So this might feel weird at first, and it will definitely look funny, but you only have to see me and no one sees you. So lucky you. So we'll start with looking directly up, as far up as you can go, keeping your chin and forehead at the same level. So you're not lifting the head, but you're just isolating the eyes, looking straight up toward the sky or ceiling. And then trace that periphery as far as you can go to the right, drawing that big circle. Remember not to lift your chin or turn the head. And then follow that gaze down towards the floor, down the right, keeping your chin level, looking straight down towards your feet or the floor beneath you. Hold, keeping that breath nice and easy and fluid, keeping your seat soft. Continue with your gaze down to the left, as big a circle, get as far out into that wide periphery as you can, looking sideways to the left as far as you can. And then eventually all the way tracing back up to our starting point, we'll move in the opposite direction. Slowly down to the left, looking sideways. Continue that slow fluid circle down towards the floor, keeping your chin level with the forehead, tracing that gaze over to the right. Really stretch your vision here, and then up to the right, all the way overhead, and then find an eye level point and just gaze softly for a moment, resting the eyes. Good. So we'll move into another breath work practice. This one is known as Kapalabhati, or skull shining breath, and it's a vigorous exhalation that happens by a drawing in of the belly button sharply and forcefully. So again, if you're working with any kind of high blood pressure, any ocular issues that they're working with, as well as pregnancy, I would recommend not doing this breath and moving back to the Samavriti or equal ratio breathing, or simply a Ujjayi breath, practicing that slow, deep ocean sound with that restricted throat. Sounds kind of like this. I like to call it the Darth Vader breath, if you can hear it. So otherwise, we'll all move into this Kapalabhati breath. It has a purification quality to it, as well as an energizing and clearing effect in the mind as well. And then a little bit after we'll do 3 rounds of about 20 breaths out. And then after that 3rd round, we'll engage what we call in yoga, the Mula Bandha, the Maha Bandha, which is all 3 locks, meaning we'll lift our pelvic floor, we'll draw our belly button in toward the spine, and then we'll do the chin lock as well. That's 3 different locks where we seal the energy into that central channel. It's a Kundalini based practice, optional completely. Again, if you're not holding your breath, if you're not doing retention, we'll avoid that. But for those who want to explore moving their energy throughout the body, this is a wonderful practice. Helps with some digestive issues as well, which is good this time of year. Great. So we're just going to breathe in to full open mouth exhale, let it go. And then breathe in halfway. Start with an exhale through the nose. You'll notice my navel draws back as I exhale. My lips are sealed. Everything else is soft. Continue in that pace or slower. Last one, fully exhale to empty, and then breathe in fully. Expand the ribs, expand the lungs up and out. And exhale completely. That's the first round. You'll notice as the exhale happens, the inhale is soft and actually effortless. It's kind of just like an unnoticeable rebound that happens completely naturally. So focus on the exhale. The inhale happens on its own. We'll breathe into halfway. Exhale. One more. Empty completely. Breathe in fully. You might start to feel a little lightheaded. Exhale completely. That's okay. Take a break whenever you need it. We'll do the third round. And remember that after this final round, I'll walk you through the Mahabandha, or the great lock of the 3 locks. So we breathe in halfway. Exhale. Empty completely on the exhale. We're going to stay empty. Seal the lips, seal the nose. Stay empty. We're going to lift the pelvic floor, draw your belly button back, and then draw your chin as tight as you can toward the chest. Pressing into your knees with your hands, just straighten the arms and lift the breastbone, the chest up toward the ceiling. Stay as long as you can. Pelvic floor, navel, chin. Energy is moving upwards along that central channel. When you're ready to release, lift the chin, release the belly, the pelvic floor, and breathing in. Release. Just pause, close the eyes. Observe the effects of that breath practice. Allow your breathing to return to its natural state. You might feel that sort of energetic quality in the mind that might feel like lightheadedness, but it could also feel like there's a vibrational quality or an expansiveness. And when you're ready in the near future, you can slowly open your eyes down towards the floor, and eventually taking in objects in your surrounding environment. We'll do one more eye gazing exercise. This is strengthening not only the eyes, but the muscles behind the eyes. So in essence, we're strengthening the mind or the brain. And let's face it, we all have tired eyes. We're all Zoom fatigued. So I appreciate you watching and tuning in with me here. We'll stick it out for just a little bit longer. So I'd like you to take your right thumb pointing up in front of your face. You can start with an extended arm. So your thumb is as far away from you as your arm allows. Take your gaze, your vision, right to the thumb. And the thumb is about the middle of your body, center of the chest at eye level. So focus on that thumb. Allow your breathing and body to be soft and at ease. And we'll slowly start to draw that thumb slowly closer to you, towards your nose. And keep focusing on that thumb, as clear a focus as you can. As it gets closer, the background kind of blurs away and you're left with just the tiny details of your thumb. Keep going until the thumb touches your nose. Focus on that point. By working with the eyes here, we're stimulating the pineal gland. which accesses our higher thinking, consciousness, awareness. And then we're moving our thumb away from the nose again, very slowly, keeping that focus on the thumb, away from you, back to that starting point. Everything else is soft focus in the background, just focusing on that thumb. Really nice. Release the hand and take your gaze at eye level, soft focus. See if you can widen your focus here. So instead of focusing on one object in front of you, perhaps trying to widen your lens, taking in a little bit of your periphery and allowing the eyes to halfway close. Allow the eyes to soften. And notice that effect it has on your diaphragm, one of your major breathing muscles. Softening the eyes, we might even feel a softening of the jaw, softening of our diaphragm, and softening of our pelvic floor. All of those planes, those horizontal planes, are connected. And so if there's a moment where you feel tense or tight, or you feel short of breath, if there's an anxiety creeping in and it affects your breathing, just take a moment to soften your gaze into that wide angle lens and let it affect your throat, your mouth, your belly, and the pelvic floor, as if you could also widen those membranes that relate to one another. And when you're ready, in the near future, gently close your eyes, maintaining this wide softness in those horizontal planes, in the eyes, throat, diaphragm, and pelvis. Yet there's a brightness, an elevated quality in the breastbone as the chest slightly lifts towards the chin, creating space in the side body to allow that softness of the diaphragm to move the lungs and feel the deepening of the breath. Drifting into stillness, softness, spaciousness. Observe your breathing as it flows naturally in through the nose, throat, lungs, and out through the lungs, throat, nose, or mouth. If you feel that the head is starting to drift upward or downward, think of lengthening along the back of the neck, all the way up through the back of the head. Same with that lifted quality in the breastbone. There's a lengthening up through the back of the spine, through the back of the head. This beautiful, subtle dance between settling and snuggling into that seat that rises up to support you, and that brightness, that energetic liftedness we can experience in the torso, in the neck. It's a rising and a sinking simultaneously. Not two or non-dual. There's always a dance or a balance between one force and another. Or a force and a surrender. And as you breathe in, as you're inspiring, imagine or bring to mind, invite into your mind's eye and into your felt sense those aspects of your life that invoke action or force, that energize you, that light you up, that lift you up. The people that surround you, who lift you up, the activities and hobbies that bring you joy, bring you into creative flow, the spaces and places that fill you. And let the exhalation initiate a surrendering, a letting go of that which you no longer need. Maybe there's a belief that you hold to be true about yourself that you could let go of. There's perhaps a person in your life who no longer serves a purpose, no longer adds value. Using that exhalation, feeling that felt sense of surrendering as you soften and snuggle into your seat. Allow memories, images, sensations to flood your awareness. Surrendering habits that drain you of energy. Surrendering that spent energy that we're holding on to for no reason. And then as you breathe in, allow that beautiful life force, that space for joy, for energy, for creativity to fill you, just as oxygen fills the lungs. And continue that dance of breathing in, feeling the lightness, fullness, and aliveness. And as you breathe out, feel that softening and that letting go, imagining those things flowing down through the earth, being held by Mother Earth, forgiving and releasing as you do. And if the images or sensations are too stimulating or too much work right now, simply sit back and enjoy that subtle dance of breath in, lightness, breath out, softness. And instead of using the mind to initiate the breath, simply feel into the body breathing itself as it flows in and as it flows out. Eventually, the focus of the meditation disappears and we sink into that stillness and that blank, vast spaciousness of simply abiding in open awareness. And noticing those fluctuations that might bubble up now and again. Coming back to that subtle dance of rising, lifting on inhale, softening, surrendering on exhale. And enjoying the peace in that stillness, quiet, spaciousness. I'll leave you with this peace for as long as you like. And I thank you. I invite you to thank yourself for exploring this time, going deeper into your practice. Namaste.